How to Be a Hero. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Now, you're probably wondering, Vic, why don't you have a Comic Hero tee on? I'll get to that a little later on. Today is a very interesting day. As I'm doing this episode, it is Monday, November 2nd, 2015, and today is my birthday. And for those of y'all who want to know how old I am 34. And I'm very unapologetic about saying that. So, I gotta ask, any questions? Alright, I only have one question this week. It's from Kiefer Price from Monroe, Louisiana. He asks, what's the best father-son relationship in comics? It could either be both super or anti-heroes or just normal. Kiefer, I had to think long and hard about that question. Because at first I was going to say Batman and the current Robin, but when I think about it, that was kind of a toxic relationship, even though this current Robin, Damian Wayne, is actually Bruce Wayne's son with Talia al Ghul. But then I thought again, and I had to say Superman and Jonathan Kent, and the one I'm talking about is from the previous DC universe, not the current New 52 universe. In this one, Jonathan Kent passed away while Superman was still a teenager. But in the previous DC universe, Jonathan Kent was present in Superman's life throughout his early adulthood. And here's why. I mean, I never saw such a bond. I mean, there was hardly ever a disagreement between the two. And really, when you think about it, that's how every relationship should be between a parent and their child. And I mean, it just worked. And then also, Superman's relationship with his adopted mom, Martha Kent, was also great. But it was at the time, the relationship between Superman and Jonathan Kent was a father-son relationship that defined them both. And really, to me, that relationship is pretty much how every relationship should be with every parent and child. So definitely Superman and Jonathan Kent. Okay, that's the only question I have for this week. But if you have any questions that you want to ask, contact info is down there. All right. Now, nobody's requested a DC versus Marvel fight. However, I have one of my own, and this one is very cybernetic. On the DC side, we have Red Tornado. On the Marvel side, we have the Vision. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call DC versus Marvel.
Hulk!
Welcome to DC vs. Marvel. Today, it's Red Tornado versus the Vision. Red Tornado possesses superhuman strength and durability, high-level intellect, air and wind manipulation, the ability to access any information from any foreign computer system, and the ability to change from android to human form at will. The Vision possesses superhuman agility, intelligence, strength and speed, flight, density control, intangibility, shapeshifting, mass manipulation, regeneration, solar energy projection, and technopathy. Who would win? This fight wouldn't start out with hand-to-hand combat like other fights have. This fight starts out with powers. The Vision would use his solar manipulation powers and barely dent Red Tornado. The latter would use his wind manipulation on the Vision, but the Vision doesn't move due to his density control. After fighting for hours on end, the two defeat each other at the same time. The Vision uses his technopathy on Red Tornado, converting him back to his human form, and Red Tornado uses his universal computer accessibility to shut down the Vision. This fight ends in a draw, and that concludes this DC vs. Marvel fight. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that DC versus Marvel fight for this episode, and we kind of knew it was going to end in a draw anyway. But if you have any requests for DC versus Marvel, contact info down there. Although I really don't have a problem with doing it, with doing my own DC versus Marvel fight. I really think it's a lot of fun, but I want your input. This is my show, but I always want your input. I always want your suggestions. Okay, now it's time for my favorite segment, Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, the first thing I want to talk about is there's going to be a brand new relationship in the all-new, all-different Marvel Universe. Now you're probably wondering, who? Okay. Now I just got to warn you. There are going to be a lot of misconceptions being made about this. But after I tell you who, I am going to explain thoroughly. Captain America and Thor. Now you're probably wondering, wait a minute, they're both men. What are you talking about? Wait, okay, first off, let me explain. First off, the current Thor is not Thor Odin's son, or the one that we see on the big screen. This Thor is Dr. Jane Foster. Now, at the end of the original Sin miniseries, we find out that Thor Odin's son finds out he is no longer worthy of wielding Mjolnir. So in the pages of the previous Thor book, a mysterious figure ends up on the moon, picks up the hammer and says, the universe needs a Thor. And for the longest time, we try to figure out who is this mystery woman who is now Thor. Well, at the very end of that series that just ended right before Secret War started, we found out it was Dr. Jane Foster. Now you're probably thinking, oh, okay, so Dr. Jane Foster is going to be dating Steve Rogers. No. Steve Rogers in the comics is no longer Captain America. In the previous volume, well, not the previous volume of Captain America, but the volume before that, the Steve Rogers Captain America went up against this villain called the Iron Nail. The Iron Nail, he beats the Iron Nail, but he paid the price. And the price was the Iron Nail siphoned all the super soldier serum from Steve Rogers' DNA. And so, and not only did he lose his muscle mass, he also became an 80 or 90-year-old man. Yeah, no. So ever since then, Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, became the new Captain America. So there you have it. The Sam Wilson Captain America and the Jane Foster Thor. Oh, and one other thing I want to talk, and the next thing I want to talk about, and I just found this out earlier today. Now, Star Trek is currently a comic series with IDW. And because it is a series with IDW, I just want to. I'm happy to say that Star Trek will be coming back to the small screen for the first time since Star Trek Enterprise. That's right, folks. I think it is the original crew, but don't quote me on that. It's just something that I found from comicbookresources.com. They were saying that it's going to be coming back in 2017 on CBS. And speaking of CBS, next thing I want to talk about, Supergirl. I don't care what anyone says, that show is amazing. I mean, you have Melissa Benoist playing both Kara Danvers and Supergirl, and doing a great job, might I add, in the first episode. Second episode airs tonight, and I'm going to try to make a mad dash back to my apartment so I can watch. And then Callista Flockhart plays Cat Grant, and McCad Brooks plays James Olsen. Now you're probably thinking, why did they cast a black actor to play a white comic book character? Hey, it worked when Pete Ross played. It worked with the actor who played Pete Ross in Smallville. And after watching the first episode, it worked here. I think the actor's name was Sam Jones III, who played Pete Ross. But anyway, hey, I think it's a hit. I think it's a hit so far, and I think it's going to be on CBS for years to come. As the same thing I think of with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC and The Flash on the CW. Okay, and speaking of Supergirl, well, this is kind of in terms of Supergirl, and I just found this out. Let me pull it up for a minute. According to David Goyer, a TV writer, there's going to be a Krypton series, and it's going to take place 200 years before Superman. Now, I think I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. I believe it, because for years we've been trying to figure out the whole mythology or the whole legend of Krypton, and in this series, I think we're going to find out. So yeah. Okay, that's it for Constantly Speaking. Now then, the moment you've been all waiting for. Let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is Batman and Robin Eternal #4. This is a series that just premiered for DC last month, and it talks about some of Batman and Robin's, Dick Grayson, some of their cases back during those times, and they're also having to deal with a few family matters. I've yet to start reading it, but as soon as I do, I will let you know what happens in a future episode. Up next is Sinestro #16. Now in this one, Sinestro is trying to get the Sinestro Corps back, or he has, but he's having a hard time trying to keep the band together. He got the band back together, he just needs to keep them together. Alright, next up is Superman #45. This is part of the True Story arc that has been going on in the book since June. June or July? June, yes. Since June. And during it, Superman is not only dealing with not having his powers, but also with Lois Lane pretty much ratting out his secret to the entire world. Kind of hard when you're the Man of Steel, but a lot of folks refer to you as Clark. Alright, next up is New Avengers #2. Now, I just read the first issue, and in it, this is the New Avengers is pretty much what AIM used to be. Now, AIM used to be a science organization which stood for Advanced Idea Mechanics. With these New Avengers, it stands for Avengers Idea Mechanics. And some of the characters that are in this book are Sunspot, who is the president of the new AIM. Squirrel Girl. Golly, I'm having a hard time remembering who else was in that book. But anyway, it's a good book, and you're probably wondering who is that. That, folks, is the Maker. If you don't know who the Maker is, if you've been reading Secret Wars, it is the ultimate version of Reed Richards. So the ultimate version of Reed Richards is now in this all-new, all-different Marvel Universe, and he's a bad guy. All right, up next is Batgirl number 45. This book takes place. It's a new direction for Batgirl. She's now living in this new town called Burnside, and she's pretty much a public figure, which is something that Batman Batman, if he, Bruce Wayne, if he was still Batman, which he's not, he would pretty much frown upon, because just about everyone in the Bat family worked in the shadows. But Batgirl got tired of that. She just didn't want to deal. So now, since she's gone on her own, she wants to do things her way. Okay, that's 1, 2. Okay, that's 5. Okay, next up is Aquaman number 45. In this book, this is not the same Aquaman. Well, it is in terms of the person, but it isn't in terms of the personality. You see, the current Aquaman was poisoned by some creature, and it ended up impairing his judgment. And he went from, and not only that, he's also a fugitive of Atlantis. And not only is he wanted by Atlantis, he's by his own people. He's also wanted by the Justice League. And instead of being in Amnesty Bay, Massachusetts, where Atlantis, which is just above Atlantis, he's been spotted in places like St. Louis. Okay, wait a minute. That's 6. Okay. Well, anyway, now remember when I said that there was a reason why I didn't wear the polo, where I'm not wearing the polo now? Well, y'all about to find out. Okay, first off, if y'all been paying attention, especially to all my friends on Facebook and Twitter, y'all, and Instagram too, y'all would know that I only needed 6 books to reach 7,000. So those 6 books that I just introduced, I'll be right back. While y'all are waiting, check out this graphic. All right, just introduced those, but I'm not done. I still have 3 more. Okay, next up is Robin, Son of Batman, number 5. Now, in this one, Robin has been going overseas from Gotham, and he is pretty much having to deal with a whole bunch of demons. He's branched out on his own. Ever since Bruce Wayne is no longer Batman, he's pretty much, felt like he's become unchained, and he should do whatever he pleases. And not only that, he also has a new pet. All right, next up is Cyborg, number 4. Now, in this book, Cyborg is dealing with becoming more human than Cyborg, all thanks to almost dying. And not only that, he's also, pretty much fed up with his father not really paying attention to him, and instead paying attention to his cybernetic makeup. And then lastly, The Flash number 45. Now, in this book, this is Professor Zoom. Now, this This is not the same Zoom in the Flash TV series. This one is Eobard Thawne. Now, in the TV series, Eobard Thawne, who masqueraded as Dr. Harrison Wells, was the Reverse Flash. And it's kind of hard to explain this book when you watch the TV series, but Thawne is pretty much giving Barry Allen all kinds of fits, and just when he thinks things are getting better, it only gets worse. Okay, that is 9 I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,003. Quite the surprise, huh? Well, I hope you enjoyed this special episode of the Comic Hero Show. It wasn't so special when I started doing it. It seemed like any other episode. Well, unless you've been following me. But 7,000 comics. I know that sounds crazy, but the thing is, I didn't just start collecting comics, about 10 years ago. No. I started collecting comics back in December of 1997. That's why I always say December of 1997. Read a lot of books. Read some good ones, read some bad ones. But one thing that I don't regret this hobby. Not one bit. And almost a month ago, Clint Thomas passed away, and he knew that I was close to the 7,000. He was excited about me getting to it, but I know he's up there, he's watching, and he's thinking he finally did it. He finally did it, and to the family, I know y'all are watching. I just want to let y'all know that that Clint always held a special place in my heart, and y'all hold a special place in my heart also. But a lot of folks think, man, how do you do it? Where do you keep them? I hate to say this, but the answer to that question is classified. I don't give away all my secrets. But this is also the 87th episode of the Comic Hero Show, and I'm not done yet. I'm only scratching the surface, folks. I've only been doing this show for 2 years, and I want to do it as promised. I want to do this until I am physically unable to. So right now I have a pretty good, clean bill of health. So I'm going to keep doing it. And of all days to do this show, my favorite day of them all, my birthday. And first off, now that while I'm thinking about it, I want to thank everyone who posted wall messages on Facebook and on Twitter and sent text and calls. I just want to thank y'all. I mean, this has been a very great day, and this has been a great episode. And so yeah. Well, anyway, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I did it. And I will see you in the next episode, episode 88. It may be here at Crew of Tees. It may be at Clint's Comics. There's no telling where it might be. But there will be an episode 88, and there will be an episode after that, an episode after that, an episode after that, and so forth. But as I always say, till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero. Now, right after I left Crew of Tees, I went over to Second and Charles in Bossier City and Books A Million in Monroe because I figured there were also some books that I either was a little behind on or I had holes with. So I went on ahead and filled the holes and caught up with the books in terms of buying them. And here they are. I'm not going to give a brief description of any of these books. All right, first up is Sam Wilson, Captain America #1. Sam Wilson, Captain America #2. Teen Titans #12. Cyborg #3. Miracle Man #3. And finally, Action Comics #45. Now, that's 6 more I bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 7,009. See you next time for episode 88. Bye.